Most organisms on Earth survive within a shockingly narrow window of physical conditions. Drop the temperature too low, and ice crystals tear cell walls apart from the inside. Raise the heat too high, and the proteins that sustain life begin to unravel. Without liquid water, cellular activity stops entirely. The tardigrade is an exception to these rules. It is a microscopic invertebrate that survives environments that should, by any biological standard, be lethal. At less than a millimeter long, they appear clumsy and vulnerable. 8-legged, slow-moving creatures, often found in the damp patches of backyard moss. But this fragile appearance is deceptive. To find the true limits of life, we have to look at an organism that treats the most hostile environments in the known universe as a minor inconvenience. Inside a lab, tardigrades have been submerged in liquid helium at -272 degrees Celsius, a temperature where molecular movement almost entirely stops. They survived. They have also been placed in heat chambers reaching 150 degrees Celsius. At this threshold, standard living cells boil and rupture, yet the tardigrade remains intact. In 2007, researchers tested these limits in the ultimate laboratory. Thousands of tardigrades were launched into orbit and exposed to the vacuum and intense solar radiation of open space without any shielding. When the mission returned to Earth, the results were conclusive. The specimens were not only alive, but remained completely viable for reproduction. Normal biological structures cannot withstand this level of trauma without catastrophic failure. Survival at this scale requires a physiological mechanism that functions differently from any other animal on the planet. This endurance relies on a process called cryptobiosis. The tardigrade effectively presses pause on its own existence, entering a state that blurs the line between biology and chemistry. When environmental conditions become lethal, the tardigrade curls into a ball and expels up to 95% of its water. This prevents the formation of internal ice crystals or the boiling of cellular fluids. As the body dehydrates, the metabolic rate flatlines. It drops to less than 0.01% of its normal resting level. In this state, the organism is known as a ton. It is no longer a functioning, breathing creature, but a biologically inert object that is virtually immune to external physical pressure. This total metabolic suspension removes the organism from the biological flow of time, allowing it to wait indefinitely for the danger to pass. A tardigrade can remain in this ton state for decades. Without food, oxygen, or any sign of cellular aging, it simply persists as a dormant speck of matter. The catalyst required to end this suspension and restart the engine of life is remarkably simple. It takes only one drop of water. Moisture triggers an immediate rehydration process. The cells quickly repair DNA damage accumulated during the dormant years, and the metabolism resumes its normal pace within hours. This cycle allows the tardigrade to wait out hostile eras, effectively time-traveling until the environment becomes hospitable again. Cryptobiosis has allowed the tardigrade to survive on Earth for over 600 million years. They were present before the first trees appeared. They persisted through the great dying of the Permian period, the entire reign of the dinosaurs, and every global ice age that followed. While large apex predators often go extinct when their environments shift even slightly, this microscopic strategy of retreat has proven to be the most resilient evolutionary blueprint in history. Human civilization relies on a highly specific, stable climate to survive. We are, by comparison, a delicate species. If a catastrophic event were to strip the planet of its habitable conditions and bring an end to the human story, the tardigrade would curl up, shut down its systems, and prepare for another long wait. They are nature's silent warriors, the true voyagers of time, who will likely remain here long after we are gone.